The moment I unfolded the letter, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. It wasn't just any letter, it was the last words my grandmother ever wrote before she passed away. And as my eyes scanned the faded ink, my entire world shifted. For years, my family branded me the spoiled brat. No matter what I did, it was never enough. If I spoke up, I was dramatic. If I stayed quiet, I was ungrateful. They laughed behind my back, dismissed my achievements, and reminded me constantly that I would never measure up. But Grandma never saw me that way. She always had this look in her eyes, like she knew something the rest of the family didn't. And now, through her final letter, she revealed the truth they had tried to bury for years. The words inside didn't just clear my name. They exposed secrets that turned my entire family upside down. When I put that letter down, I knew nothing would ever be the same. The very people who called me selfish and spoiled were about to face the truth, and the revenge Grandma left behind for me. Hey everyone, welcome back to Revenge Flame, the channel where true stories of betrayal, shocking secrets, and unforgettable revenge come alive. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a story that will leave you thinking long after it ends. Here, we don't just share drama, we uncover the emotions behind it. Stories of people who were silenced, dismissed, or betrayed, only to rise stronger than anyone expected. Stories that make you laugh, cry, and sometimes even cheer when justice finally finds its way. And today's story? It's one that cuts deep. It's about being labeled unfairly, treated like nothing, and then finding out through a grandmother's final letter that everything you believed about your family was about to change. So stay with me because this one is going to shock you. I grew up in a family where appearances mattered more than feelings. To outsiders, we looked perfect smiling at family gatherings, showing off achievements, pretending everything was fine. But inside those walls, I was always the problem child. My siblings were praised for their grades, their charm, their accomplishments. I could never compete. If I made a mistake, it was exaggerated. If I succeeded, it was brushed off. They had a name for me, the spoiled brat. I hated that label, but it stuck. Anytime I stood up for myself, my parents rolled their eyes and told me I was being dramatic. My siblings laughed, whispering jokes at my expense. Over time, I started to believe them. Maybe I really was selfish. Maybe I really was unworthy. But there was one person who never treated me that way, Grandma. She saw me differently. When no one else would listen, she would sit with me, hold my hand, and tell me that I was stronger than I knew. She never fought openly with the family, but she always left little hints that she knew more than she was saying. When she passed away, I felt like the only person who truly understood me was gone forever. I thought her silence meant she'd taken those secrets with her. But then came her final letter, the one she left specifically for me. In that moment, I realized Grandma had been watching everything all along, and what she revealed was about to change my place in this family forever. After Grandma passed, the family gathered at her house for the reading of her will. The atmosphere was heavy, not with grief, but with greed. My parents sat stiffly at the front, my siblings whispering and snickering behind me. They were confident about what was coming. They had always been Grandma's favorites. Or at least that's what they told everyone. As the lawyer unfolded the will, the tension grew thicker. My brother leaned back in his chair, smirking, as if he already owned the place. My sister tapped her nails on the table, impatient, like she was counting down the minutes until she could flaunt her inheritance. Me? I sat silently, already expecting nothing. For years, they had told me I was worthless, undeserving, the spoiled brat who drained the family instead of contributing to it. Then came the letter. It was separate from the will, sealed in an envelope with my name written in Grandma's shaky handwriting. The lawyer paused, clearly curious, before handing it over to me. Instantly, I felt every pair of eyes in the room burning into me. My mother muttered under her breath, probably just a goodbye note. "Don't make this dramatic." My siblings chuckled, ready to mock me no matter what was inside. I didn't open it there. I tucked the envelope into my bag, my heart pounding. Something told me this wasn't just a goodbye. Grandma had always known how they treated me, even when she didn't say much. And if she had left me something separate, it meant she wanted me to find out the truth on my own. But that decision to wait only fueled my family's whispers. She probably begged Grandma for pity. Watch her pretend it's something special. Their words stung, but they didn't know what I knew. Grandma never wasted words. I wasn't ready yet, but soon. They would all see. The very next day, I learned just how cruel my family could be. My mother called me, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "So what did Grandma leave you? A trinket? A piece of her old furniture?" My siblings were in the background, laughing loud enough for me to hear. I told her I hadn't opened the letter yet, and that's when she snapped. Of course you haven't. You've always been ungrateful, too spoiled to even care. Don't drag this out for attention. We all know Grandma loved us more. Her words cut deep. After everything. They still saw me as the problem, the outsider, the embarrassment of the family. My sister even posted on social media later that night, writing, "Some people will cling to scraps and still think they're special." I knew that post was meant for me. The betrayal stung worse than ever. They hadn't just dismissed me, they mocked my bond with Grandma, the one person who had ever shown me unconditional love. In that moment, I felt anger rising hotter than I'd ever known. If Grandma had truly left me something, I wasn't going to let them twist it into shame. They wanted me broken. But soon, they would be broken instead. When the day came to finally open Grandma's letter, I did it alone, my hands trembling. The envelope was thick, her handwriting shaky, but unmistakable. As I read her words, tears blurred my eyes. She wrote about how she had seen the way my family treated me, how it broke her heart that they called me spoiled and unworthy when all I ever did was try to love them. Then came the part that changed everything. Grandma revealed that her estate, the house, the savings, even her small collection of heirlooms was left entirely to me. Not to my mother, not to my siblings. Me, she wrote, because you are the only one who ever made me feel loved without conditions. Do not let them convince you otherwise. I could have kept that truth to myself, quietly moved forward. But I knew my family they would twist the story, call me a thief, claim I manipulated Grandma. So I decided on something they would never forget. At the family gathering a week later, everyone was buzzing, whispering, waiting to gloat about how much they had inherited. My mother smirked at me across the table, as if daring me to admit my disappointment. That's when I pulled out the letter. I read Grandma's words aloud, every sentence echoing through the room like a hammer striking stone. The laughter died. My siblings' faces turned pale. My mother's smirk vanished. When I reached the part about the inheritance, you could hear a pin drop. Then the shouting began, accusations, insults, rage. But it was too late. Grandma's words were written in black and white, her will already legally sealed and validated. I looked each of them in the eye and said, "For years you called me spoiled, ungrateful, worthless. But Grandma saw the truth. And now the world does too." The silence that followed was the sweetest revenge I could have imagined. They had mocked me for years, but Grandma's final act had flipped the story forever. The room erupted into chaos after I finished reading. My siblings stormed out one by one, their faces twisted with rage, muttering about unfairness and favoritism. My mother stayed behind, her eyes burning with anger, but beneath it, I could see something else: fear. For once, she no longer had the upper hand. The following weeks were almost surreal. They tried to contest the will, but Grandma had been meticulous. Every page was signed, dated, and legally notarized. Their lawyer eventually told them there was nothing to fight for. The inheritance was mine, and no amount of yelling, gossip, or manipulation could change that. Suddenly, the people who once mocked me wanted to talk, to rebuild family bonds. But I didn't owe them that. I poured my energy into restoring Grandma's old house, turning it into a place filled with warmth instead of cruelty. For the first time, I wasn't the spoiled brat or the family embarrassment. I was the one who carried Grandma's legacy forward. And watching their bitterness from afar, I realized sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply living well without the ones who tried to tear you down. Looking back, I sometimes wonder if Grandma knew exactly what she was doing. Maybe she understood that her final act wouldn't just protect me, it would expose the truth my family worked so hard to hide. For years, they painted me as spoiled, selfish, and unworthy. But her letter proved what I had always felt deep inside. I was never the problem. And if this story touched you, shocked you, or even made you reflect on your own family, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow so more people can find these stories. Also, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next episode. Every week, we dive into real-life drama, revenge, and secrets that remind us just how complicated families and relationships can be. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's simply living your truth. The pain of being cast aside by your own family never fully disappears. But I learned something powerful through this journey. Sometimes the people closest to you will try the hardest to dim your light, not because you're weak, but because they fear your strength. Grandma's words reminded me that love, respect, and kindness hold more weight than any insult or label. Her trust in me gave me courage to finally see my worth and stop seeking validation from those who never intended to give it. So if you've ever been made to feel small, remember this: the truth has a way of surfacing no matter how long it takes. And when it does, it can rewrite your entire story just like it did mine. So that's the story of how my family called me a spoiled brat my whole life, only for Grandma's final letter to turn everything upside down. What they thought would be my humiliation ended up being my moment of truth, and the legacy they thought was theirs became the gift Grandma trusted only me to carry forward. But now I want to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have read the letter out loud in front of everyone like I did? Or would you have kept it private and let them discover the truth on their own? Do you think Grandma was right to leave everything to me? Or should she have split it evenly? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one because your perspective always adds something new to these stories.